The views and opinions of this broadcast do not reflect the views and opinions of Armed Media, UNU Productions and its affiliates. Enjoy the show. Hi, and welcome to this week's episode of Talk Time with Val. I'm your hostess with the mostest, Valenice Tamal, and tonight I have a very special show lined up just for you. Now, of course, I have joining me my favorite cantankerous producer, Mr. Jim Bell. Hey, Jimmy.
How you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm fine.
Now, I don't know about the rest of you out there, but I know that a lot of people I know, and myself, are always watching the budget. And around Christmas time, watching the budget can be extra stressful because you have so many parties to go to, get-togethers, whether it's your sister-in-law's house, your friend's house, office party, something. There's always some place that you have to go, and it's really hard to buy the perfect hostess gift. I mean, you don't want to get a cheap $5 bottle of wine and take it. You want to give something that is special from the heart, that somebody will enjoy, and that, you know, will make them feel like, okay, this person took some time and effort to think about me, so I'm special. And that's what this show tonight's about. We're going to go through some hostess gifts that are really easy to make, some tips, some tricks. I have some doozies lined up for you that are really inexpensive to make and really, really easy as well. Now, before we get into that, today I heard a poem. It's actually spoken cinema. It's called We Are the Lions, and you can get it on YouTube. It's performed by Steve Connell. It's written by Steve Connell. And to say it moved me would be the understatement of the decade. It had so much truth and power to it. So much just purity in the message. It was so real and to the point and written and spoken in such a way that it's not just understood or understandable by the masses, but it actually speaks to just the average Joe, you know? This poem, We Are the Lions, speaks about something that nobody wants to really pay attention to, domestic violence. It speaks to the mindsets, the realities, the social norms that are, you know, what we live with every day. It speaks to the average Joe, like I said, and how each person can make a change. We have it lined up, but since we're going to be pulling it off YouTube, and again, all credits go to Mr. Steve Connell and his production team for making this video. It's a spoken cinema piece. Since we're pulling it off YouTube, it will be kind of soft, so I would advise that you turn your radios up as loudly as you could possibly get it so that you can hear this beautiful piece called We Are the Lions. Are we ready to play it, Jimmy?
Yep.
Pornography. I mean, I don't
All right, whenever you're ready, tell me.
When I see sexually exploitive commercials. In fact, those are usually my favorite ones. I mean, I don't know what her ass has to do with my hamburger, but I'm going to drive through the very next day. I have a problem with violent movies or images or the word bitch. Don't have a problem with jokes about women. In fact, I freely admit there are times where I sit back with my fellas and kick back, talk about some bitch, and how I wish I could hit that, talk openly in public places, unconcerned if your kids laugh. I mean, it's just words, just jokes, just dudes talking shit that you never expect's going to get back. However, I do have a problem with violence and cruelty and rape and abuse. And even if we know it's just me, It's just you. It's just a few harmless chokes between me and my dudes. It still perpetuates a culture where it's easy to confuse the link between the jokes and the bruise, between her getting choked and what's just jokes between dudes. And if there's a connection between the things I don't have a problem with and the things that I do, then perhaps I need to rethink my views on the way we view women and how many views sexually exploitive images get on YouTube. My best friends have beautiful children. And if what I have to do to keep their daughters from getting raped or harassed or abused is choose to accept domestic violence as a man's issue too, then I'll do that. And if their sons grow to be like the men that they see, so it's on me to live like the men I want them to be, then I will do that too. And when they're of a certain age, I will tell them this story I heard when I was young about this village being terrorized by lions. See, every so often in this village, the villagers would wake to find beds ransacked, bodies torn, and for some odd reason, the bodies were always female. Panicked, the men of the village started sleeping in shifts to make sure at least one man was always watching. Despite that, the lions came. Too worried to sleep now, the mothers crept to the beds of their babies, and there, watching over them, they learned why the victims were never men. Because on random nights, for unknown reasons, as the fog crept in and the moon caught in the branches, the boys and men of the village became the very thing the women they loved feared most. When I was young, I thought that story was about lions. It's not. See, we are children, the monsters are under the bed. When we are adults, the monsters have moved. They are inside us. They fight us. They climb in bed beside us. And so to stay safe from danger, we raise our girls to believe they must avoid it. And we raise our boys to believe they must become it. And so they do. And then one day, they grow up to discover they are the lions. They are the ones you're watching out for. They are the ones. We ask her, what did you do? When we should ask him, what have you done? But we don't. As if we can't blame him, as if it's her fault for failing to accept that being safe around men, that's not safe to expect. I mean, she got in a cage with the lion. She deserves what she gets. And as men, we have to reject that mindset or the violence won't end. We have to accept most often it starts in the hands and hearts and minds of men. And we are the lions time and again. And if we aren't the lions, we are on their side. Too often standing proudly in defense of the pride, perhaps afraid that if we stand with women against the lion, we will ourselves be devoured. And so, ironically, to prove we aren't cowards, we become cowards. To prove we aren't weak, we become weak. To prove we are still lions, we become sheep, unwilling to do the one thing that must be done. Speak. And our silence chokes as heavy as hands. It stings in every black eye. Where men stand, violence lives or dies. And that is why to call this just a women's issue is a lie. We must be involved. This is a problem that cannot be solved with our silence. If we want to end the violence, we must speak. We must act. 1 in 5 women are raped by men. We must own that fact. 640,000 women and girls are trafficked for sex annually. We must own up to that. 3 women are killed each day by men who say they love them. That fact is ours and ours alone. Domestic violence is ours to own. This is what we must understand. This violence ends where it starts, in the hands and in the hearts and in the minds of men, because we are the lions. Time and again.
Hi, and welcome back. I just popped ice in my mouth. I don't know why I did that. My bad habit. I'm freezing cold and I eat ice. Okay, Jimmy did not give me any warning. So I guess the video is over. We Are the Lions, spoken cinema, has just been played. And I hope it touched you the same way it touched me. I thought it was one of the most interesting, heartfelt, and real pieces of poetry that I've heard in a very, very long time. Excuse me, Jimmy, did you listen to it?
Amongst trying to listen to you at the same time, yeah, I did.
You enjoy it?
I heard it the first time, so I didn't catch the end, and that's what I caught this time.
Okay. So, well, did you enjoy it? Did you like it? What you heard of it?
Did nothing for me.
Okay. I thought it was beautiful. But anyway, so tonight's show. Like I said, it's really, really expensive this time of year. So what can we do to make life simpler, make life easier? Well, I have a few tips for the people who are going to those parties. And even if you're not going to parties, let's say you're on a budget and you want to make some gifts for, like say you give out gift baskets to your neighbors or to your colleagues at work or friends or whomever, and you just don't know what to do this year. Well, there are some really, really simple, really inexpensive things that you can do. Now, everybody knows mason jars, right? There are different sizes of mason jars. And depending on what you're making, you can choose your size. But the 32-ounce quart jars are typically what I look for. And if I go to a place like, let's say Rula's, which is the Kroger off-brand store, or to Aldi's or something, I can generally get a set of 12 1-quart or 32-ounce regular mouth canning jars for about $8. Right now, Target has it on sale for $10.19, and that's for a dozen, right? With a dozen, you can make 4 really nice gift sets or 3 really nice gift sets, or you can make 12 really nice gift sets if you put the mason jar idea to work with another DIY idea. So let's say your jar costs about 60 cents. All in all, what you're putting into the jar will probably cost you about $1.80 to $2 max. And this is including the ribbon and the tag that you're making to go with it, etc. $2 for a personal gift idea. Isn't that fantastic? Something that anybody would love, including somebody like Jimmy. Jimmy, if you were to get, what's your favorite dessert? Do you like chocolate chip cookies, oatmeal chocolate chip?
A pudding pie.
Okay, that's your favorite dessert. But what about, like, I don't know, brownies? Do you like brownies? Not
Yes,
hot
I do.
brownies,
Yes, I
regular
do.
brownies. Okay, so you like brownies. So if you were to get a huge mason jar filled with a mix, and all you had to do was add milk or water to it and pop it in the oven with the instructions right there, would you be happy with that?
What is it again?
A mix for homemade brownies.
Oh, and I just had to pop it in?
Basically, all you had to do was mix the water or milk into it and pop it into the oven, yeah.
Well, same as you would do from scratch there or whatever.
Well, from a box, you mean?
Yeah.
No, because the thing is, the difference is that you can buy the box mixes, and they're tasty, but, it's not really something that's pretty, for one. It's not something that is homemade, that somebody can, they took the time and the effort. It's layered and beautiful, and it has, like, if you look at the pictures I put up, did you see the pictures, the album?
No, I didn't.
All right, let me send you a link to the album right now. So the first picture on there is 2 mason jars, right? One of them is, let's see, oatmeal, and I think I put butterscotch in that one, or maybe peanut butter chips, cookies. And the other one is a honest-to-goodness great oatmeal cookie mix with chocolate chips and almonds. It's absolutely fantastic, right? So, anyway, you're not going to get whole chunks of almonds or You can get peanut butter nuggets and stuff in there, but you basically the mixes, you have to add stuff to it to make it special, right? Well, these little gift jars, you can put it together. It makes a whole ton of brownies or cookies or whatever else. It's a personalized little gift. And if somebody gave that to you for Christmas with something else, like a scarf or something, wouldn't you feel like you were special, that they took the time to make this for you?
No, it wouldn't make me feel special.
It wouldn't make you feel special?
No.
Well,
To eat food?
not to eat food, but the fact that somebody didn't have a lot, but they still wanted to give you something, so they made something from the heart for you.
Okay.
It makes me feel special. When you come to my house and I invite you over for, a supper party or something, right? Tree trimming party or just whatever it is. I don't expect you to bring anything. But most friends will bring something, and generally it's a bottle of wine. Or my friends, since they know me so well, will bring me like a small bottle of good balsamic vinegar. It might be only 3 ounces, but it's the kind that if I had to buy a huge bottle of it, it would cost me $80. So they may have spent $10 on it, but it's gorgeous, right? It's something I would appreciate and love. They'll bring a bottle of wine or something else like what? A platter of fruits or cheese or something. And typically it's not necessary, and they know that they don't have to bring anything, but they want to give you a hostess gift, right? I have collected so many plants because everybody knows I don't like cut flowers. I actually cry when they die. I know that's silly, but I hate seeing flowers die. So they bring me the flowers, and then you know what? I cry even harder because I'm a flower killer. I love gardening, but unless it's a succulent or a cactus or something like that, or herbs for my garden, I will kill it. I try my hardest. I sing to them. I do everything everybody says you should do. I give them, the nutrients in the soil, the salts in the soil. They get watered. They get the perfect sunlight. I don't know if I over-tend to them, but for some reason, my plants tend to die. They have a shelf life of maybe 2 years, and that's it. So, bearing that in mind, it's like, what do you give the hostess who has everything, right? Well, for me, because I am busy a lot of times and there's a ton to do, having these pre-made jars it's a godsend. It's something that my husband, who does not like to cook, can take, toss into a slow cooker, and add some water and make me a home-cooked meal, or something I can take and toss into the slow cooker while we're out all day and do for him. I have soups, minestrones, chicken soup, whatever it might be, pasta dishes, desserts, s'mores, all kinds of things that you can do. So let's see. In this post, which you can get on my Amrita Rupnarayan page, it's on my Valanissimo Armed Radio page, and if you look at the post from tonight, the links are all there for the albums. We have s'mores, we have minestrone, we have oatmeal chocolate chip cookies, ultimate brownies, and a 5-bean soup that everyone will love. You know what the great thing is about this 5-bean soup? Absolutely fantastic. It is a vegan soup, so anybody can eat it, right? And added bonus, it looks so beautiful. It looks absolutely so beautiful. You have kidney beans, black beans, northern beans, split green peas, pinto beans, all lined up. And the pinto beans are slightly pink, and then you have those pretty green peas over it, then the white northern beans, then the black beans, and then the kidney beans on top. You cover it with a little swatch of cloth, screw the lid down, make your own little labels, and voila! You have enough there what, of course, you have like a little packet of herbs and stuff on top, black pepper, paprika, a little dry mustard, some dehydrated onions, sea salt, garlic powder, dried oregano, dried rosemary, some bay leaves, and some bouillon cubes. You make a little sachet for the very, very top with the herbs in it. You put it in there, and you have a vegetarian 5-bean soup mix ready to go. All you need for that one is 4 clear quart mason jars. So out of that box of 12 that you bought, use 4 of them, plus the lids and the rings, some parchment paper, tape or stickers, some labels, fabric and ribbon to cover the top. And then it's really, really easy. In each of the 4 mason jars, layer 2/3 cups of pinto beans, and you're just going to shake the jar gently so that the beans level off. Then repeat with 2/3 cups of green peas, and so on, ending with the kidney beans. Then you set the jars aside. In a small bowl, combine all the remaining spices, except the bay leaves and the bouillon cubes. In a 10 by 10 piece of parchment paper, scoop 3 tablespoons of the spice mixture in the middle. Place 2 bay leaves and 1 bouillon cube on top. Fold the parchment around the spices to make a small spice packet. Seal it with tape or a sticker. Repeat 3 more times to create 4 total packets. Squish the packets onto the top space of each of the 4 bean jars. You can also package the spices into plastic Ziploc baggies if you'd like. Whatever makes your life easier. Place the lids on the jars, cover with fabric and ribbon, and label it. That's it. You've just made the perfect gift for a hostess. Now let's say, excuse me, let's say you do that with the beans in one. You do a bread mix. Do you like cornbread, Jimmy? Please say yes.
Yes, I do.
Good. Do you like hush puppies?
Don't know what they are.
Hush puppies is basically you take some cornmeal, you take some minced chopped onions, really, really fine, some flour, a couple of eggs, and you kind of beat it up into a batter. You can add whatever spice you like a little paprika or some parsley, and you put salt and black pepper. You don't really have to put black pepper, it's not necessary. You whip it up, and then it's deep fried. It's called hush puppies. It's like a fritter. It's like a cornbread fritter, kind of like the filling around a corn dog, but a little sweeter. Oh, you also add sugar to it. So it's like a fried cornbread, basically.
Sounds good.
It is fantastic, and down here in the Midwest, it's served with fried fish, fried chicken, all kinds of things, right? John loves it because when I make hush puppies, he loves them hot, but sometimes I make a little bit too much, and if they go in the fridge, he can pretty much just warm it up in the microwave and crumble it on top of soups and stews and stuff, and it's an easy way to make like a variation of cornbread. You can do the hush puppy mixture in a mason jar as well, and actually looks quite beautiful. What I found is if I put the cornmeal on the bottom, so you have yellow, and then I put a sprinkling of like Cajun spice or some paprika with some parsley, and I sprinkle it around the edges so it looks like it's in there like in a layer, but it's not really, it's just on the very edges. And then I add flour, which is white, and then again the cornmeal and the flour and whatever. And then in a little basket, I nestle this jar in that's been wrapped up with a little ribbon, and the egg carton container, that you get styrofoam or you get cardboard, right, Jimmy? For your egg cartons, yeah?
Right.
You can cut it. You cut your egg carton container so it makes a little nest for your eggs. You put 2 eggs in there, wrap it up with some ribbon, put a little jaunty little sticker on it. You can even wrap it in some gift wrap paper, just these 2 eggs with that. And I like to add a little milk to my cornbread, but I don't advise putting milk in the basket. Anyway, I nestle the eggs. Sometimes I will paint little faces on the eggs and nestle them into some strips of, colorful paper and put the mixture in the middle. And then I make another jar with my specialty spice mix, like a small jar, one of those 4-ounce jars with my specialty spice mix. And I do another jar with a breading. So let's say they're doing catfish or they're doing fried chicken. This other jar has my, special breading mixture, which I'm not going to give away because it's absolutely fantastic and ridiculously good. It's crispy, it's crunchy, it's airy, it's spicy, but not too spicy. It has good crevices for the little nuggets of salt in there. It's absolutely gorgeous. Everybody loves it. Everybody wants it. So I do that. And it's a little like dinner basket, right? So I put the breading mixture in there. I put the spice mixture in there. I put the hush puppy mixture in there. I put a couple of eggs that have been painted, sometimes like little faces or whatever you want. You can stick a foam Santa Claus on it, dip it in some blue food coloring, get the eggs nice and blue so they look like robin's eggs or something, and then stick a little reindeer sticker with Santa Claus as if he's flying across the sky on it. And you nestle it all into a little basket, and you wrap the handle of the basket with like a tea towel or something, and you have a perfect little gift basket. I also like to put dessert mixes in there. So I'll do biscuits, I'll do cookies, I'll do cakes, brownies, whatever it is, right? And it's just a little meal to ready that if you go to the store to get, quite frankly, yes, you're not going to pay, a whole lot for it. But if you go to one of those specialty stores where you get all this presentation and beauty around it, as well as that homemade touch, it's going to be quite expensive. You can do it yourself at home with your flavors. It's really, really easy. Now, not just that. Let's say you're a baker. Jimmy, can you bake bread?
No.
A lot of people think that they cannot bake bread. There are some really simple bread recipes out there. The problem is that people don't have the time to bake bread anymore. So there are some that you can go look up, like Amish bread, for example, that are quick breads. If you make a pumpkin bread, zucchini bread, or a quick bread mix and put it in all pre-whipped for them, then all they have to do is, add some milk and some water and mix it and literally dump this quick bread into a pan and bake it. They would love that. Muffins, cookies, whatever it might be. It's just something that you can do with finishing homemade touches that's really, really inexpensive. What about, let's say you have a big family like Jimmy's. Jimmy, how big is your family?
14.
14 siblings, right?
Yep.
So how many nieces and nephews?
31.
Okay. So let's say how many great nieces and nephews?
What does that mean?
Your nieces and nephews have kids, right?
Yes.
How many great nieces and nephews?
No idea. I've never even tried counting.
60, 100?
I don't know. I don't know. Probably 30.
Well, if 31 people and their spouses have kids, and let's say they average 2 kids each per family, which we know is not going to happen in Jimmy's family. They probably have 1 or 5,
Right.
And that's
a lot
how
of
it is in my
threes.
family too. A lot of threes? Okay. So let's say 3 kids per family. That's 90 kids, 93 kids right there.
Yeah, that's what I said. I had 144 for a total with my brothers and sisters, their kids, and a total of 144. 120 showed up.
Oh, wow. All right. So let's say you're just going to do something for the kids alone, right? It's going to be expensive if you had to buy a present for each of those great-grandnephews, right? Or nieces, yeah?
Well, I used to have a Christmas party every other year, and I would make the parents or whoever buy them gifts, and I had a guy that came in and did Santa Claus with the gifts.
Aw, that's sweet. But like during those parties, you had a gift that you gave them. Their parents would buy the gifts. A lot of people have those family get-togethers, right, Jimmy? Like, let's face it, it's really
Well, like
expensive.
I said, in order for my family to get together for Christmas, we have to rent a hall. We can't do it in any one person's house.
Right, I hear you. Exactly. But like when you're doing it, let's say I'm hosting a Christmas party for my nieces and nephews, and or let's say I have to send treat bags to school, right, or whatever it might be. Another really, really cute idea is getting bulk store candy. Now, post-Halloween, there's a lot of candy on the shelves that are really cheap. If you go to the bulk store, you can get everything from gummies to pretzels to chocolates to honeycombs. I mean, the sky's the limit, right? And you buy by the pound. Okay. You scoop a little bit of each one in there. Or you put 2 wrapped strawberry candies in with a couple of Sansa Jingle Ball candies or whatever it is. And you make a little mason jar, or if it's for kids and you don't want to put it in a glass jar, you put it in, like a little plastic cup. Like, those, have you ever seen those disposable wine cups? They're clear, hard plastic. You can put it in one of those, and they come with lids, so you can just get those. And then you can make a little, snowman's hat or whatever, put it on top, paint the cup white, make a snowman's body. I mean, you can really do whatever you want, but I'm just saying, a little cup of candies, get the little critters all hopped up on sugar, and then send them home with their parents. That's always fun, right? Jimmy? Guess
Oh,
I
yeah.
don't have an enthusiastic Jimmy tonight. But anyway, like I was saying, there are tons of mason jar ideas. And if you go to my Valenista Armed Radio page, it walks you through how to make, how to do, how to wrap it up, how to make the labels, everything. It's all right there, ready to go just for you. Now, we need to break for commercial. When we come back, I'm going to talk to you a little bit about putting together what mason jar ideas go together to make baskets for these inexpensive and yet beautiful hostess gift bags or baskets. When we return after these messages from our sponsors.
Are you hangry? Know the signs. Uncontrollable yelling.
Why aren't you egg rolls?
Hallucination.
Sushi.
Pants discomfort.
I hate you, pants.
Hangry. It can happen to anyone. Fortunately, there's E24, the app that tells hunger to shut up.
Egg rolls. Thanks, Snoop.
E24. In my medical opinion, it's the best way to order food online, baby.
Hey everyone, as you all know, summer is now here and everyone wants sexy summer skin. I'm partnered with Rodan & Fields, the #2 premium skincare company in the US. We have some fun treats for you guys. Check out my website at www.ewinters.myrandf.com. But wait, there's more. Join as a preferred customer to get 10% off and free shipping for all these amazing products that I'm currently obsessing over. Or email me for a free mini facial or free consultation at ewintersrf@gmail.com to get your sexy summer glow.
Hey everyone, I want to tell you all about an amazing salon,
Joyce's, located at 132 Ferry Street in Everett, Massachusetts. Joyce's specializes in the latest techniques in coloring, styling, cutting, and beach waves. Joyce's features Sukesha all-natural nutrient products and organic color. Joyce's full-service spa and salon, located at 132 Ferry Street, Everett, Massachusetts. 617-387-6688. Specializing in you.
And now, another fresh insight from Roger Berkowitz, President and CEO of Legal Seafoods.
If your wife can't take the time to test your tuna for purity, then why should you take the time to come to a complete stop before letting her out of the car? Just saying.
Legal Seafoods. If it isn't fresh, it isn't legal.
Hi, my name is Amrita Rupnarayan, aka Valanissima. Amrita means ambrosia or nectar of the gods. Valanissima means keeper of divine knowledge. Join me every Thursday night at 10 p.m. Eastern for a night talk with Joe Rocks, exclusively on TuneIn Satellite on Armed Radio Global Network, where we will discuss food, culinary arts, baking, cooking, food preparation and presentation, bringing you a little bit of the divine knowledge so you can create your own nectar of the gods. Hi, and welcome back to this week's episode of Talk Time with Val. I think I'm confusing my producer right now. Did I confuse you, Jimmy? Are you confuffulated?
Yeah, discombobulated. I have no idea what I'm doing.
Well, I'm having a good old time, and what I was going to say is, okay, so Jimmy, let me ask you something, right? Tell me if these things sound good to you. Okay? Sunflower loaves.
Loaves?
Yeah, like bread loaves.
Oh, really?
Yeah, made with sunflower butter and sunflower seeds. It's really nutty and rich. It's a kind of
the seeds are actually in it, or do you break the seeds over?
No, you get the kernels, the little nibs out from inside the seeds, and you toast them, honey toasted, or you can buy it honey toasted, and it's sprinkled on top, and it's made with the sunflower butter inside, so it's really delicious. Have you ever had it?
No, I haven't. Sounds good.
Well, okay, so sunflower loaves. How about golden pumpkin walnut loaf?
No.
You don't like walnuts, or you don't like pumpkin? You love pumpkin.
Both of them together just don't sound good.
Well, the thing is, it's a pumpkin bread, and what you do is you do like a sweet, slightly spicy, like a little bit of paprika, like smoky, spicy glaze on the walnuts, and you sprinkle that on the very top of the loaf. So when you cut it, you have the chopped walnut spice mixture, like how they have the oatmeal and stuff on the top of the loaves now.
Yep.
So it goes well together, but you can leave the walnuts out. You can use whatever nuts you want. You don't have to use nuts, you know? How about pumpkin cranberry muffins?
That sounds interesting.
Orange cranberry muffins.
No.
Orange cranberry muffins are delicious. I absolutely love them with a little tart orange marmalade. How about panettone?
I don't even know what it is.
It's an Italian Christmas bread.
Never had it.
Okay. How about chocolate-filled buns? Cinnamon date pecan rolls with maple glaze. Big walnut sticky buns. I mean, there's a ton of stuff. Okay, you might not like everything, but listeners, you will know your friends. You will know what flavors they like, and you can make some of these things. They're actually quite simple, and if you would like to, you can send me an email at talktimewithval@gmail.com or reach out to me on Facebook, and I will be more than happy to help you through this. I'll get you the recipes, and if that's not good enough, I will find you a tutorial. And if that still doesn't work, I will try to walk you through step by step. If you really need a lot of help, I will try to walk you through step by step by showing you how I'm making it at home myself, and you can make it real time with me. So there you go. Just, call in, email in, message in, whatever you have to do. Excuse me. Now, what I was going to say is, if you go online and you were to purchase a Hostess basket for the hostess in your life, right? What would you buy? There's lots of things. You can get, you can get for about $39.99 Festive Gift Basket by Harry and David. And that has, it's a little container with some chocolates and more chocolates and chocolate-covered other things. You can get mixed nuts. You can get fruit basket. But the bakery baskets are actually pretty expensive. Now, the small bakery baskets with gourmet coffee, homemade and some homemade baked goods are like $30, and it's enough stuff in there for pretty much a couple or two people for their breakfast. Are you going to pay $30 for that and send it to them, and it's literally in a pretty cardboard box wrapped up with twine? Seriously? Or are you going to make it yourself? It's really easy to make yourself, right? And this is what I'm telling you. Go online, get some ideas out of these fancy dancy gift baskets that are like $40, $50, $60 each. Now, I'm going to walk you through a deluxe double gift basket. It has coffee, homemade baked goods. It's a perfect hostess gift, birthday gift, corporate gift, holiday gift. It can be an office gift basket if you'd like. You can use any of those recipes that I just mentioned, or you can, whatever your favorites are. You can make about, for the price of $60, you can make at least 4 or 5 or maybe even 6 of these baskets, right? Flour is like $1.79 for 5 pounds. Okay, bananas are 29 cents a pound, or if you're going organic, 59 cents a pound. Gourmet coffee, it's a little bit more expensive. That's where your money is going to be spent. Getting 2 or 3 different flavors of gourmet coffee, and even then, you're not putting the entire big bag in there. You can go to the bulk stores, you can get a pound each, and put a quarter pound in, wrap it up in, well, first of all, you want to put it in a Ziploc bag so it stays sealed. Or you can put it in a mason jar and fancy up the mason jar or whatever. Pop that in your little box with your baked goods. You don't have to give them the mason jars. You can make it yourself and then put the treats in there with the coffee and stuff for them. For a person like Jimmy, that's what I'd end up doing, because I'm pretty sure that he would have the mason jars there collecting dust. Right, Jimmy?
Yep.
You're not going to go and actually cook it or bake it. So for a guy like Jimmy, yeah. But if it's like a mom with 2 kids, like my friend Stacy, definitely I'd give her the mason jars, because she would have fun with that, and it would be a home cooked meal from her. So there you go. Another little helpful idea, hopefully. Now, one of my favorites that's in this specific album is called Hostess Mason Jars, Meal Gifts, Desserts Too, is s'mores. Who doesn't like s'mores? Tell me who doesn't like s'mores? Horrible, horrible people. They don't like s'mores. S'mores are delicious. They're decadent. They're just joyful. They're just amazing. So, easiest thing to do. With these s'mores, you can, basically it is, I'm going through I got this off of a recipe site. I posted it on Facebook. Credits go to Carrie K. Taylor. Let's see. 1.5 cups of graham cracker crumbs. So that's 1 sleeve of crackers crushed. 1.5 cups of miniature marshmallows, or substitute 8 peeps and a 1/2 cup of miniature marshmallows for seasonal fun. You line the jar with the peeps facing out, or with whatever. You got, 1.5 cups of chocolate chips or mini Hershey Kisses or M&Ms, and a 1/3 cup brown sugar. That's it. In order to make them, couldn't be easier. You combine the jar contents with a 1/2 cup melted butter and 1 teaspoon of vanilla. Press the mixture into a 9-inch square baking pan. Place the marshmallows on top. Bake at 350 for 15 minutes. Let it cool completely and cut into bars. That's it. It's absolutely delicious. Yummy. Decadent. I love it. Okay. So, anyway. Moving on from the jars and baked goods and gift baskets idea, which I think I beat like a dead horse. Let's go to homemade wreaths. So, Jimmy, let me ask you something. Do you have a wreath up?
Do I have a what?
A wreath.
No.
Why not? Not feeling festive?
I don't get into Christmas.
Okay, but when you used to get into Christmas, isn't one of the things that
I still didn't have a wreath.
You might not have had one, but like the houses you pass that, for some reason wreaths scream Christmas, right? I mean, when you see a wreath, you think Christmas. But typically that's when they're used. Now, wreaths started off with, trying to bring a little bit of the outdoors inside, right? It'd be cold, it'd be snowing, and a lot of people would want to, basically as a nod to nature, bring a small tree inside or something and take care of it and show the gods of fortune that, hey, they're working well with nature, let their next harvest and crop be good, right? But in modern day society, wreaths have become just way over the top. You can make wreaths with everything from Christmas decorations, like those little balls, to, I don't know, whatever. But some of my favorite wreaths are the really, really simple ones. Now, I have an herb garden. I love my herb garden. I had to leave my herb garden when I moved in September to our new house. And I couldn't replant one because, well, it was September, right? So, one of the things I'm going to miss making is my Christmas herb wreath. Now, it's a wreath full of fresh herbs is so much more than a festive holiday decoration. It's functional. It is as functional as it is beautiful, providing a veritable garden of herbs that will add flavor to your recipes throughout the season. Whether you hang it on your front door, keep it handy in the kitchen, or give it as a gift, this herb wreath is sure to be a hit for the holidays. Now, you can use that grapevine stuff that, you pretty much get in any craft store around, or you can use pretty much anything that you can bend and make. Now, a lot of people buy their wreath pieces, but if you can't afford to, don't worry about it. Get some, those Christmas tubes, those wooden tubes that they have inside of the Christmas paper. Sorry, not wooden, but cardboard. You know what I'm talking about, Jimmy? What do you call them?
I give up.
Those are long tubes that are inside of the gift wrapping paper. The cardboard tubes that hold the gift wrapping paper together.
They're just tubes.
Okay, I thought there was a special word for it. Anyway, you can use something as simple as those cardboard tubes. You just cut them every 5 inches, 6 inches. You can use toilet paper rolls, for God's sake, to make a wreath. All you have to do is cut it every 5 or 6 inches and stick something in between it to hold it together. You can use skewers, you can use a twig from outside, and basically just bind it until it makes like a wreath shape. And then you wrap it with anything. I mean, an old scarf, strips of paper, ribbon. You can use, you know what I like to use? You know that gift paper that comes in every single gift box from the store? Like when you go to Kohl's or whatever, you have that white gift paper that's always inside the box. I reuse those to wrap ugly surfaces. So like your wreath, you're not going to see the wreath innards, right? So use that. It's real easy. You can just use that. You have some extra time on your hands. Get a couple of young branches from outside. Young branches, thin branches, actually fold and bend quite nicely, don't they, Jimmy?
I guess.
Could have said yes, Val, but Jimmy's not upbeat tonight. Okay, so you can get a few young branches and twine and twirl them yourself during the summertime to let them kind of dry in that shape. Twine and twirl into a wreath shape, tie it off, and let it hang and dry and cure. Once it dries into that round shape, you have homemade wreaths that you can use year-round. I have found that it's actually quite a lot of fun to see what you can bend and make. And hey, you're saving money, you know, because you're not going to go spend whatever, $5, $10 on grape wreaths at the store. All right. So to make this very special wreath, right, here's what you do. You need a 14-inch grapevine wreath, some fresh herbs, florist wire, rubber bands, and scissors. In the floral supplies section of your local craft store, you can find many types of empty wreaths that can serve as a foundation, including grapevine, raffia, foam, wire wreaths, whatever. Grapevine wreaths offer a natural look, and it will still look good as you remove the herbs for cooking. Okay? Use herbs that will dry on the wreath instead of ones that will shrivel and die. Rosemary, lavender, thyme, and bay leaves will keep their shape beautifully, and their scent lingers long after the holidays are over. Avoid herbs like basil, parsley, or mint, which will wilt within a few hours out of the refrigerator. Sage dries nicely, but it does droop, so if you're going to do sage, hang it upside down on the wreath so that the drooping is not evident. For this wreath, we're arranging the herbs in bunches rather than mixing them. So divide the individual herbs into mini bunches, tying them together with rubber bands. It's much easier to arrange the herbs when they're in smaller bunches versus one large bunch. Okay? Cut about 12 inches of florist wire and thread it through the herb branches. By placing the wire between the branches, you will get a firmer grip when the herb is attached to the wreath foundation. If you don't have florist wire, thin multi-purpose wire or a long twist tie will also work. Position the herb bunches on the grapevine wreath foundation and wrap the wire around the back, twisting the wire ends where they meet to secure them. Sometimes it's easier to place the wreath upside down while twisting the ends, so just tug on the herb branches to make sure that it's secure. You want to really tie it into place there. When you tie the herb to the wreath, the wire practically disappears, but the rubber band at the bottom is still clearly visible. To hide the rubber band, overlap the herb bunches. As you add bunches, each one hides the rubber band on the one before it. Notice that with the rosemary, all the bunches are facing the same direction. And you can notice this by going to my Talk Time with Valenissima page, my Valenissima Armed Radio page, or my Amrita Rupnarine page, and take a look at my album. So all of the bunches are facing in the same direction. You want to keep all of your herbs in the same direction for a neat and tidy appearance. When arranging herbs on the wreath, try to alternate textures to add visual interest. For example, after the long prickly branches of rosemary, the next herb selected was the shorter leafy thyme. Again, these herbs are divided up into smaller bunches, tied together with a rubber band. Then twine is threaded through them, and they're then tied to the grapevine wreath foundation. Fresh bay leaves are great for herb wreaths, but because they're loose, they need to be prepared before they can be attached to the wreath. So cut about 12 inches of wire and bend it in half to create a U. Arrange 3 bay leaves in a fan shape and insert the wire into the leaves to hold them together. Wrap the wire holding the bay leaves around the wreath and twist the ends together in the back. Bay leaves are interspersed throughout the wreath rather than keeping them in one section. As with leaves in a floral arrangement, the bay leaves act as an accent for the surrounding herbs. After arranging all the herbs on the front of the wreath, the back of the wreath is full of excess wires. Not only are they unsightly, but they could potentially scratch your door. So cut any excess wires and tuck the ends underneath the grapevine branches so they do not stick out. Decide what is the top of the wreath and tie a string loop to one of the branches on the back near the top. Using the loop on the back, hang the herb wreath on a door. If your door does not have the appropriate hardware for hanging, an easy solution is removable adhesive hooks like 3M command strips. Your herb wreath will bring beauty and fragrance to your home throughout the holidays and beyond. It's actually quite gorgeous. It's quite fragrant. It's lovely. And you know what? The lavender flowers actually add a beautiful little splash of purple to this. You can add pretty much anything you want to your herb wreath to make it prettier, but I like to stick with generally the herbs, right? You just go and scavenge your garden just before the first frost hits, and you trim back everything. I mean, you trim everything, and you make about 4 or 5 of these full wreaths. You put them on, hang one on your kitchen door. Excuse me. The entire house, and I kid you not, gets this beautiful fragrance of fresh herbs. And as they dry, it's like a potpourri throughout the house. You can give them out as hostess gifts. You can put it on your front porch, on your front door, your back door, your garden door, like your garden gates, whatever it might be, wherever you want to put it. And as the herbs dry, the fragrance, of course, maintains because it's cold outside. It's just, once you want to use it for your soups and stews and food and stuff, fine, go ahead. Once it dries completely and you want to take it off the wreath, it dries so nicely, you can actually put it in jars and keep it. Although I just like to keep it on the wreath until I use it. You know, it's a handy dispenser. Makes the kitchen pretty, too. All right. We have to break for commercial, don't we, Jimmy?
It's time.
It is time. We gotta pay those bills. Keep the big boss, Mr. Joe Rocks of Night Talk with Joe Rocks, happy. And by the way, listeners, if you're looking for something fun to do on Thursday nights, you can always tune in to Night Talk with Joe Rocks at 10 p.m. Eastern, Jimmy? Or is it just... It's right, 10 p.m. Eastern. I always get the Central and Eastern times mixed up. Anyway, tune in to Night Talk with Joe Rocks, and there will be a very special cooking corner with Val featured on Night Talk with Joe Rocks this week. You're going to get my specialty mince pies. They're absolutely delicious, easy to make, really cute, really festive, really fun. And you know what? Santa Claus, I think, might be a little bit fed up with the cookies. Maybe give them a little mince pie.
I thought they were raspberry. They're mint.
Minced fruit.
Minced.
Fruit.
Oh, it is fruit.
Yeah, it's minced fruit. Back in the day, they called them mince pies because back in the day it was made with meats and stuff. Yeah, and I never liked them when they were called mince pies. I never liked them. Right, and they used to make them with meat, but nowadays you make them with fruit. This is my version with fruit, and my version with fruit is a cranberry studded mincemeat. So basically, it's some port, dark brown sugar, some cranberries, cinnamon, ginger, cloves, black currants, raisins, some dried cranberries, the zest of a clementine, the juice of that same clementine, a little vanilla, a little honey, and some almond extract. All minced up together, which is why we call it mince. Everything is all minced up, and it's cooked. The cinnamon, the ginger, the everything, the cloves, the cranberries, it's all cooked together. And then you add the brandy and the port in last because you don't want the alcohol to cook out, right? And once you do, basically you use that filling. It's kind of like a rustic jam, like a homemade jam, that you use in the middle. It's really delicious. It's kind of boozy, I will admit that, but you know what? As I said, Santa Claus is fed up of the cookies. He wants some beautifully boozy mince pie to keep him warm, and maybe a hot toddy, a snifter of brandy, or, okay, maybe you don't want to get him drunk. Don't give him eggnog. He's fed up of eggnog, right? Jimmy, don't you think Santa's fed up of eggnog?
No, he isn't.
You think Santa loves eggnog?
I think so.
Well, just in case Santa has developed some lactose intolerance in his later years, offer him something else, right? Maybe a little Irish coffee, maybe a little, You know what? Tune into Night Talk with Joe Rocks on Thursdays, and I'll give you some delicious spiced hot drinks that Santa might just like. All right, let's break for commercials, and when we're back, we will talk more on keeping the budget for Christmas this year, how to decorate, what to give, and basically how to survive without going into debt. After these messages, right here on Armed Radio Global.
Are you hangry? Know the signs. Uncontrollable yelling.
Why aren't you egg rolls?
Hallucination.
Sushi.
Pants discomfort.
I hate you, pants.
Hangry. It can happen to anyone. Fortunately, there's E24, the app that tells hunger to shut up.
Egg rolls. Thanks, Snoop.
E24. In my medical opinion, it's the best way to order food online, baby.
Hey there, all you creepy people. This is Kevin Wayne from Portland, Oregon. You're listening to Armed Radio, home of the big guns.
Hey Dan, how's the day going so far?
My day couldn't be better. You pull up less than 3 minutes after I open my Lyft app, and how do you greet me? With a kind hello? Just delightful.
Great. Care for a cookie?
A cookie? A chocolate chip cookie? I'd love one.
Sure.
Hey, let me ask you something. How did you know I love this song?
I mean, come on, it's the Cold War kids. Everybody loves them.
Whoa! Who taught this guy how to merge? That was a fantastic merge!
Couldn't agree more.
That's it? That's all this costs? What's this thing running on? Smiles and high fives? You son of Mike, I love you!
Thanks. Have a great day.
Lyft. Driving you happy. Just download and go.
Hi, and welcome back to this week's episode of Night Up. Well, I'm going to say Night Talk with Joe Rocks. I guess Joe is on my brain, huh? Talk time with Val and Eastema. Jeez, Jimmy. Do you think Joe put a spell on me or something?
You've been mentioning him too many times.
Apparently. I have Joe-itis, apparently. I don't know what's going on here. All right, so welcome back to this week's episode of Talk Time with Val. That's what I meant to say, of course. Here's what we're going to talk about next. I have these amazing little votive candles that you can make. They're Christmas luminaries, okay? Really, really inexpensive. Now, I don't know about you guys, but for me, whenever I get a little glass jar of anything, I typically save it. And, you know, whether it be candles that I've bought or jam jars, because sometimes I like to get those miniature, like 1 ounce, 2 ounce, 4 ounce jars of jam. You get them at the farmers markets, and you want to try one, right? Before you go and you order from their catalog, and you get these really expensive jams that are like $9 a jar, but it's so good. So, I mean, you don't go get those. You get the little 1 ounce or 2 ounce servings. I save those jars. I love those jars because those tiny little jars come in so handy whenever I want to make a centerpiece. Jimmy, do you have cedar trees there?
I'm sure we do.
Have you ever smelled cedar tree? The leaves, isn't it? How would you describe it?
I don't know. Musky.
It's a little musky. It's a little woodsy. It has a brightness to it, even though it's musky, right? Like an earthy kind of fresh earth. Yet there's like a kind of a spike of, I don't know what, something sharp through it. Yeah?
Yep.
Okay. What about pine needles? Do you have pine needles around?
Oh, yeah.
And I think everywhere in America you go, there's pine needles around, right?
Absolutely.
So, if you don't have a cedar tree, you can pretty much use any trimmings you like for this one. But it is so easy. It's crazy how easy it is. Now, you know those little tea lights that you get at the store? You could probably get like a bag of 50 for like $1 or $3 or whatever.
Were they solar?
Pardon me?
Were they solar?
No. It's like you get a bag of 50 of these little tea lights for $1 or $3. Oh yeah, they come in that little silver holder. Each one of them has a little kind of a plain silver aluminum holder. But you know what I'm talking about, right? Tea lights.
No.
You don't know what tea lights are, Jimmy?
Sorry.
Oh my good lord. They're these tiny little candles that are about 1 inch, 1.5 inches high. They're about 1.5 inches to 2 inches in diameter. And they generally are in this very thin aluminum wrapper. So you can pop it into any of the little, whatever you have at home. You have something that you need to warm, or those little votive candles, whatever it is, right? Anyway, they're tea lights. Everybody else in the world, you know what tea lights is, I hope. If you don't, go look it up. Jimmy, you seriously don't know what a tea light is?
No, is that a light or is it a candle?
It's a candle, but they're called tea lights. Hold on. All right, I am going to send you I'm going to send you, and you can get them scented or unscented. I like the scented ones. You can get them at Walmart. You can get them I love getting them at IKEA because they have this Old English Rose scented one that I absolutely adore. And there's another one that's like apples and something else that I absolutely adore. So, I go a little bit nuts for it. But anyway, these, Jimmy, I don't know what else you call them, but these are tea lights. I'm going to poke you with it right now. Paste, send. All right. So those are tea lights, right? And let's see. Walmart has these 100 in a pack for $3 something. Almost $4. Where is it? Yeah, almost $4, right? So you can always buy it there. But like I said, wherever you want to buy your tea lights, that's fine. Most households, most married couple households, or most households with a woman in it, will have tea lights. I probably have about 300 of them floating around this house somewhere because I always misplace the bag, and when I'm out, I'll buy another bag, and then, oops, I found that bag, so then I have like the leftover 10 or 12 left from the previous bag, and I have 10 bags of that, you know? But anyway, so tea lights, yes. What was I saying? Festive candles, Christmas luminaries. Now, I'm all about living a creative life in the most simple way that I can. And like you, I don't always have a lot of time to create the perfect home I often fantasize about. So instead of getting stressed out, I have learned how to put together some simple yet creative decorating ideas that keep me inspired, yet sane throughout the season. My motto is always, it doesn't have to be fancy to be perfect. These luminaries will take you less than 5 minutes and can be used as a table centerpiece to decorate your porch, your mantle, or maybe all of them. The supplies that you need? A simple jar. You can use mason jars, old pickle jars, or find something more decorative, like the ones that I found at New Seasons. I found them in the plant section as I was walking out with a load of groceries and stopped dead in my tracks. Cranberries. You also need cranberries. You can usually find a bag of them easily in your produce section. Something green. It doesn't have to be cedar clippings. I just happen to have a very large supply in my backyard. Stop your yard for plants. That may work. Or, your neighbor's yard, whatever gives. And some floating candles. Most votive candles will float if they're not too tall. Tea lights float. Okay? And the added bonus with the tea lights is that they have their own little mini holder, right? So it creates their own little boat for them. Anyway, how do you do this? Now that you have all of your supplies together, it's really quite simple. You place your greens inside your jar. You place a few cranberries in with the greens. Fill the jar with water. Make sure your greens are fully submerged because you don't want them catching on fire, right? You'll see a little bit of greens peeking up through the cranberries. You can always put as much or as little as you want. Place your candle right in the middle, and that's it. Your candle's floating in that water, surrounded by cranberries and by the greenery. And just repeat the process until you have the amount of luminaries needed. Me, I do it until I run out of jars because, quite frankly, it's the cheapest little thing to make and it's just beautiful. Feel free to add a decorative ribbon or baker's twine around the rim, but keep it away from the candle flame. So if you're adding a ribbon or, whatever, just make sure it's down, facing down. If you go to my Amateur Grind page, or you go to my Val Nistema Armed Radio profile, or my Talk Time with Val page, or Armed Radio Global page, or even Jimmy's page, right, Jimmy? Go visit Jim Bell's page.
That's it.
And you will find it right there. They look festive in the day or the night. They can be lit or unlit. The best part, it didn't take you more than 15 minutes to be finished decorating, and you had fun doing it. Now, say you don't have any of those little glass jars hanging around, right? Are you going to go buy some? Jimmy, would you? I mean, seriously, it's kind of a waste of money, right? To go buy some?
Right.
But everybody has mismatched glasses in their house, right? Like clear glasses. I know I always have, I have a ton of dinnerware. I have a ton of flatware, but that's just me. I like to have different things so that it has different backings for whatever I'm serving. But anyway, you must have some old glasses lying around. If you don't, you can always hit the local Goodwill or yard sale or whatever and just pick some up. You can literally get tiny, small glasses for 25 cents. Or if you make them an offer, they'll give you the entire box for $1. Okay? So keep your eyes peeled for something like that. Those little jars, the jam jars, are perfect. But you can also get little mason jars, But I'm actually thinking I need to make some more of these because I wanted to give it as a hostess gift. I'm going somewhere this weekend. My friend Gail is having a get-together, and it's going to be a Trini get-together with parang and saltfish, and I'm looking forward to it. I haven't had one of those in about 3 years, so yeah, I'm thinking about making a few of these to take over to her. And let's see, mason jars. Oh, let's see. So a 2-ounce clear straight-sided mason jar is 28 cents for one. Okay. They sell them in 50-count packs. You can get half pints, which are 8-ounce ones as well. Let's see, I'm trying to get the 4-ounce ones. Why don't they sell 4-ounce ones? I don't know. I think we're nuts. Okay, there you go. So you can get a 12-count of 4-ounce jelly jars with lids and bands at Walmart. They're a little bit expensive there. I would say go to Personalized Expressions Collection Mason Jars, and you can get those really cute little old-fashioned ones for 96 cents. You can get the blank mini mason jars for, oh yeah. So you can pretty much pay anywhere between 20 cents to $1 per one. But like I said, excuse me, you don't have to do that. You can use any little jar, any little whatever that you like, or you can collect them. I never realized little jars were so expensive. Jimmy, did you realize that?
I don't buy them. How would I know, Val?
Okay, but you wouldn't think that the 32-ounce ones would... Wouldn't you think the 32-ounce jars would be more expensive than the 4-ounce jars?
I don't know. It all depends on how they blow them, I guess.
You said blow them. Okay. But, anyway, there are tons of little things that you can do with this. You don't just have to use cranberries. I like the cranberries because it adds that red. The candle glowing adds that gold. The shimmer of the glass tends to add a little silver shine. The greenery on the bottom, of course, is the green, and it's just Christmas colors, right? So, you know, what's really, really lovely is that these look festive day or night, whether they're lit or unlit. You can position 3 to 5 jars together over a bed of greens, maybe even add a couple of pine cones, and you've got yourself a stunning table centerpiece. I like to collect pine cones, and I can get these. You can get these little glitter pens. They're basically glue pens that have glitter in them. You get like a pack of 10 or 12 or something like that for like 99 cents at the dollar store, Walmart, whatever, right? I take these little glitter pens and just kind of paint the tips of the pine cones, and they make them really sparkly and pretty, right? And then I glue gun a cluster of pine cones together and stick in, like, you know those dollar store flowers that always look tacky? Or I'll take like the leaves off of that, or I'll take some, like a green branch from outside, like one of those, what do you call them, Jimmy? Spruce branches? Fir branches?
Spruce.
Okay, those are the flat ones with the pretty kind of spangly green ones.
With needles.
There's one that it's not really needles. It looks like a wide plane of leaf. We have a tree on the side here. I just call it an evergreen. I don't know exactly what kind it is, but it's like a flat. It looks like lace. Each large leaf looks like lace on the branch. It's really pretty. Maybe it's needles. I don't know. But anyway, take a few of those because they actually last. That color will last in them, and it has this fresh, beautiful, piney scent to it. And I would glue gun a few pine cones in a cluster, make like a fan from that, and then lay the candles on that, right? If you want to make it a little bit more secure, you can get like a flat wooden plank, an old shelf, something like that, and glue it all onto there if you'd like. You can use an old tray, you can use a new tray and don't glue it on and just place it. But if you make a few of these in a beautiful like bouquet of them, and you go tall, short, or you do one beautiful tall one in the middle, tall and lean, and 5 or 6 small ones around it, and then you know, take your little glitter glue pens and color branches and twigs and leaves and whatever, adding just a little shine of silver or gold to the greenery on the bottom. And your cranberries are red in there. It just looks absolutely gorgeous. You put it on a charger plate, because you can get those charger plates at the dollar store. You get a pack of 4 for $1, right? I like to take the gold ones or the silver ones and just hot glue the jars, the greenery, everything down to it, and take that as a hostess gift as well. You know, bring light to somebody's home. Added bonus, those tea lights are scented, and I like the ones that are cranberry cinnamon because it goes with the theme, but you also get that faint scent of pine and evergreen, and it's absolutely gorgeous. It's a nice little gift to give. Plus, if you were going to go buy this at the store, I'm not even kidding you, it's so crazy. At Hobby Lobby, the kits to do these things, or the fake cranberries and fake greenery and all that stuff, the little, like, centerpieces they have. Jimmy, did I tell you this? $70. They wanted $70 for something that's basically going to cost me $2 to make or $5 to make. Or let's say I bought all 12 jars. It's you know, so it's like I bought a dozen mason jars. It cost me under $15 total to make everything with the charger from the dollar store and whatever. I can make 4 of them, but they want to charge you $70 for one. Do you believe that?
Oh yeah.
$70, Jimmy. That's robbery. But people pay for it, and I don't understand why. I don't understand why people pay for it. I mean, you don't have time? It's 5 minutes. You stick some greenery in a jar, you pour some cranberries on it, you stick a candle in, you pour water in, and that's it. You're done. But $60 or $70 is crazy. It blows the mind that people spend that kind of money around Christmas time because they want a perfect hostess gift to give, you know? And I understand that. I understand wanting to you know, have something that you can give, right? But I don't understand spending that kind of money for it. Now, okay, a citrus lover's basket. Do you know what that is, Jimmy?
Why would I?
Okay, exactly, right? Why would you? But can you tell me this? If somebody gave you a basket that had maybe a dozen orange-like treats in it, like 1 orange, 1 tangelo, 1 mandarin, 1 grapefruit, whatever, but they all kind of look the same, right? And 4 navel oranges in it, right? Would you pay $30 for that? Would you pay $30 for that little basket? You know what? I'll do you one better. I'll poke you with the thing so you'll see what I'm talking about, okay? That might make it easier for you. Would you pay $30 for a little basket that had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 pieces of fruit in it? Maybe 12, because maybe there's 3 underneath that, 4 underneath that we're not seeing, right? It's called the Citrus Lover's Basket. It has a ruby red grapefruit, some navel oranges, and some honey sweet tangerines. It's $30 freaking dollars. You know what you can do with that basket? You can get that little wicker basket or pretty baskets at the Goodwill store, at thrift stores. Lots of baskets, lots of places. Hell, you save your Easter baskets, you can reuse them, right? And then you go to the store, you pay 65 cents for a ruby red grapefruit. You pay $2.99 to $4.99 depending on where you are for a couple of, you know, for a pound of or 3-pound bag of navel oranges, and you can pay $6.99 for the sweet tangerines, and you get about 20 of them in the bag, right? And then you can make for, I don't know, let's see, $6.99. So it's $10, and let's say you buy 5 of the grapefruit, so $15. For $15, you can make 5 of those baskets. 5. Would you pay $30 for that basket, Jimmy?
I wouldn't pay $30 for fruit.
But you get what I'm saying? How crazy it is that people, these stores stay in business because people are so busy that they literally will pay anything for this stuff. And look, it's not even fancy, is it? What about an artisanal cheese and fruit basket? Do you know how much those suckers go for?
I'm not a wine and cheese person.
Well, okay, an artisanal cheese fruit basket. It's pretty. It's got some apples, different color, different varieties. It's got some pears, maybe a kiwi or 2, an orange or tangerine, a little bag of almonds, and little tiny, like 4-ounce blocks of cheese or wedges of cheese, right? All in all, the basket will probably cost you to make it and put the ribbon and everything together. It would probably cost you about, if it's really good cheese, maybe $30. But they're selling it for $94.72. And there's only 2 left. Only 2 left available. How nuts is that? Oh, did you get the link? I posted it in the wrong place, I think. I'm sorry. I'll poke you with it. So you can see this beautiful basket that is $94.72. This is what people spend money on for Christmas time. I have friends who would bring baskets like that. And I think it's crazy that they would spend that kind of money on basically what is packaging, you know? If they had spent that $94.72 getting me triple creme truffle cheese from Lucky's, oh my god, I'd be so happy. Because a pound of that cheese is $54. Right? And I always only buy like a couple ounces at a time because John doesn't like it. I love it. But yeah, it's absolutely crazy that you'd spend $94.72 on basically a fruit basket. I think it's insane, actually. It's scary insane. Or that you'd spend $30 or on a basket of oranges, and it's not even a full basket. Or that you'd spend $60 on some cake and coffee. I mean, hell, that's just insane to me. There's absolutely no reason to go waste your hard-earned money. Plus, added bonus of making these baskets at home, you can play with your favors. So let's say I was making something for Jimmy, right? Jimmy likes pumpkin. I know that. Jimmy, do you like beer?
Beer meat?
No, beer. To drink, beer.
Oh, beer. Yeah,
Yeah.
I drink beer.
But do you like it?
I never liked beer.
Okay. Have you ever had mead?
No.
It's basically honey with a really good beer. It actually tastes pretty good because I don't like the taste of beer generally myself, but I like mead. If you use mead, which is like honey beer, and to make a bread, the bread comes out rich. It's actually really, really good because, I mean, think about it. Bread is wheat, right? And beer is what? Malt and barley and hops, yeah? So when it cooks into a bread, beer breads actually taste really, really good. Pumpkin bear bread or pumpkin honey bear bread is something that I recently discovered by accident because I had extra pumpkin and I had some beer and some mead, and I decided to try to throw it together and just make a quick bread. It came out really, really great. You know? It was absolutely delicious. And it's something that you could throw into one of your baskets. What else can you throw in? Apple cheddar bread. Nothing. Okay, you know what they say? Apple pie without cheese is like a kiss from your honey without a squeeze. You ever hear that saying, Jimmy?
Nope.
Would you ever kiss your honey without giving her a little squeeze? Right?
Yep.
Do you like apple pie?
I like it hot with ice cream.
Have you ever had hot apple pie with just in the crust on top a little cheddar cheese baked into the crust?
No.
That sharpness from the cheddar, I'm not even kidding you. I can't even explain. It's like a divine experience. You don't use a lot. It's not like overwhelmingly cheesy or anything, right? It's a little bit goes a long way. But it adds a nuance, this beautiful finishing touch that rounds off an apple pie and it makes perfection even more perfect. It just takes it to nirvana. It's absolutely gorgeous. So when I discovered that years and years and years ago, I started thinking, well, apples and cheddar. Well, I knew apples and cheddar went good together. But I just rhymed, Jimmy. I'm a poet and didn't even know it, right?
That's it.
But I knew apples and cheddar went good together. So I decided to try to, play around a little bit in the kitchen. And I like baking breads. And John doesn't generally like apple pie, but he likes miniature apple pies. And he likes the apple pie with the cheddar because it has a different flavor. It takes that appliness out of it, Now, when I'm making apple tarts and stuff for him, I have to mix it with cranberries or something, or use Granny Smith apples, something to make it a little tart, because he doesn't like the just same flavor of apple throughout. So I was trying something new, and I decided, hey, you know what? I'm going to try it with bread. The great thing about trying these recipes with bread is that it's really cheap. Flour is really cheap, So you don't have to make a lot. It's not going to waste. It's not going to be expensive if you have to throw it out or feed it to the birds, right? And so I tried an apple cheddar bread. And I'll tell you something. That bread made the best ham sandwiches you would imagine. It was basically apple flavored. It had cheddar cheese in it. And you cut slices of ham and a couple of slices of thin apples just for that crisp inside the sandwich. It was amazing. When you toasted it up, it had that warm, fresh scent of just apples, and it was just gorgeous, right? It makes fabulous croutons for salads and soups. It was just amazing, and it was something that I just kind of fell into. So, and you don't even have to worry about the texture, because if it doesn't come out like the texture you would eat for a sandwich, you can always, like I said, toast it up for croutons, for salads and soups, or you can warm it up or make like a dressing out of it. Or if you ruin your bread, like doing that, you can always make bread pudding out of it. An apple spiced bread pudding out of it. But you really can't go wrong fooling around with recipes with bread in your kitchen. Really cheap, really inexpensive, really, really easy to make. I also like to fool around with scones because it's basically a bread, but it's like a tiny quick bread, right? And I love spinach. I think everybody in the world knows that by now. And I love, oh my God, love feta. There's just something so heavenly, delightful about that sharp, salty little bite, that creaminess, that richness, that mild earthiness. And if you're fortunate enough to have a flavored feta, like I love the honey pine nut feta, oh my God, so good. Or one that's flavored with chervil and dill, it's just absolutely divine. So anyway, I put two of the things I like together, feta and spinach, because I love spanakopita. It's one of my favorite Greek things to eat. So put spinach and feta together and made some scones. You know what? Absolutely delicious. And when they're a day old, you can slice them really thin. They slice without crumbling. So you can slice them and put some really thin slices of country ham in there for this ham biscuit that's out of the world. It's also a good way to sneak vegetables into your husband and children, let me tell you. Excuse me. Now, Jimmy just poked me. and told me that we have to go for commercials. We need to pay those bills. So we're going to go do that right now, but when we come back, I'm going to tell you about a few more of my little creations at home. Hopefully it will inspire you to get inspired, using inexpensive ingredients to make some fantastic new recipes that you can use as hostess gifts. All this and more when we return to Talk Time with Val after these messages.
Buddy, you're a boy, make a big noise, playing in the street, gonna be a big man someday. You got mud on your face, you big disgrace, kicking your can all over the place.
Are you hangry? Know the signs. Uncontrollable yelling.
Why aren't you egg rolls?
Hallucination.
Sushi.
Pants discomfort.
I hate you, pants.
Hangry. It can happen to anyone. Fortunately, there's E24, the app that tells hunger to shut up.
Egg rolls. Thanks, Snoop.
E24. In my medical opinion, it's the best way to order food online, baby.
Hey everyone, as you all know, summer is now here and everyone wants sexy summer skin. I'm partnered with Rodan & Fields, the #2 premium skincare company in the US. We have some fun treats for you guys. Check out my website at www.ewinters.myrandf.com. But wait, there's more. Join as a preferred customer to get 10% off and free shipping for all these amazing products that I'm currently obsessing over. Or email me for a free mini facial or free consultation at ewintersrf@gmail.com to get your sexy summer glow.
Hey everyone, I want to tell you all about an amazing salon. Joyce's, located at 132 Ferry Street in Everett, Massachusetts. Joyce's specializes in the latest techniques in coloring, styling, cutting, and beach waves. Joyce's features Sukesha all-natural nutrient products and organic color. Joyce's full-service spa and salon, located at 132 Ferry Street, Everett, Massachusetts. 617-387-6688. Specializing in you.
And now, another fresh insight from Roger Berkowitz, President and CEO of Legal Seafoods.
If your wife can't take the time to test your tuna for purity, then why should you take the time to come to a complete stop before letting her out of the car? Just saying.
Legal Seafoods. If it isn't fresh, it isn't legal.
Hey Dan, how's the day going so far?
My day couldn't be better. You pull up less than 3 minutes after I open my Lyft app, and how do you greet me? With a kind hello? Just delightful.
Great. Care for a cookie?
A cookie? A chocolate chip cookie? You know, I'd love one.
Sure.
Hey, let me ask you something. How did you know I love this song?
I mean, come on, it's the Cold War kids. Everybody loves them.
Whoa! Who taught this guy how to merge? That was a fantastic merge!
Couldn't agree more.
That's it? That's all this costs? What's this thing running on? Smiles and high fives? You son of Mike, I love you!
Thanks. Have a great day.
Lyft. Driving you happy. Just download and go.
Hi, and welcome back to this week's episode of Talk Time with Val. Jimmy is horrible. Jimmy just said cranberries filled with vodka. Jimmy, you know what would happen if people took my little festive Christmas luminaries, my little votive lights, and put vodka in the bottle in the jars instead of water, and then tried to light the candle?
That would light up the night.
It would, huh? Giant blue flames! Woohoo! Jimmy cracks me up. But I was just, well, of course, now that we're back, I was just telling you guys about um, different breads that I've made, right? So let's see, not just breads. Now I love cranberry and orange. In fact, it's like one of my favorite tea breads to make. I like to do them in like little mini muffins. I'm not even kidding you. I'll even use a tiny boucher pan, which is like half the size of a mini muffin pan, so I can make them into one bite wonders because they're just absolutely delicious. Do you know what Grand Marnier is?
Yeah, it's like a brandy or something, isn't it?
Yeah. And you have, of course, orange liqueurs and all that stuff. I like Grand Marnier, right? So basically with the cranberry orange bread, oh my god, so delicious. Did I mention it was delicious? You can make it into a loaf, and you top it with a little bit of a Grand Marnier glaze laced with cranberries, orange zest, and butter. This is major league amazing. But even better, it's make-ahead friendly and it freezes perfectly. You could bake 2 large loaves or 6 small ones from my recipe, which I'm going to give you right now. In fact, if you tune in to Night Talk with Joe Rocks on Thursday, it might just be a little special feature bonus clip. This is how gorgeously, decadently, beautifully versatile and delicious this bread is, okay? It is using 1.5 cups of unsalted butter, softened, plus more for buttering the pan, 1.5 cups of sugar, 4 eggs, 1 cup of orange juice, 1 cup of sour cream, 2 tablespoons of freshly grated orange zest, 2 teaspoons of vanilla extract, 4 cups of all-purpose flour, 1 tablespoon of baking powder, 1/2 teaspoon of salt, 1.5 cups of dried cranberries, 2 cups of powdered sugar, 7 to 8 tablespoons of Grand Marnier or any other orange liqueur. Okay? Preheat your oven to 330 degrees. Butter up 2 6-cup capacity loaf pans, or if you're making the mini loaves, butter up 6 2-cup capacity pans, right? With an electric or standing mixer on medium speed, cream the butter and sugar together in a large bowl until pale and fluffy. Should be about 3 to 5 minutes. Add the eggs in one at a time, mixing well after each one. Add the orange juice, the sour cream, your orange zest, and vanilla, and mix until it's all blended together perfectly. In a separate bowl, whisk together your flour, your baking powder, and your salt. Add your flour mixture and cranberries to the wet ingredients and mix just until the dry ingredients are absorbed. You don't want to overmix because it's basically like a cake. You don't want to create too much gluten, right? Excuse me. Pour your batter into prepared loaf pans and bake until a toothpick inserted in the centers comes out cleanly. Remember, it's only 330 degrees, so it's going to take about 1 hour and 10 minutes to 1 hour and 15 minutes for the large loaves, and about 60 minutes, an hour, for the small loaves. You want it to cook low and slow. It will develop the flavors. It'll keep it nice and moist and tender because it's at a low heat, so just trust me on this, okay? Meanwhile, in a small bowl, you want to whisk together your powdered sugar and your 7 tablespoons of Grand Marnier or any other type of orange liqueur that you want to use. And your glaze should have the consistency of thick maple syrup or corn syrup. If it's too thick, you can just thin it out with some additional, liqueur, basically. Let your loaves cool in your pans for about 10 minutes, and then you remove them and transfer them to a cooling rack set over a large baking sheet. With a thin skewer or a long toothpick, just poke holes deep holes into the top of the loaves. Drizzle it with the Grand Marnier glaze so that it coats the top and runs down the side and it seeps through the holes. Let the loaves cool completely and then slice it and serve, or wrap it and freeze it. Better yet, wrap it up, put it in a basket as a hostess gift, and come over to my house, knock on my door and say, "Hey Val, we love ya! Just brought this for ya." I will never turn you away. I love orange cranberry. It's just something about it. Maybe because I grew up on a cocoa, coffee, and citrus estate, and orange to me is just, one of the most amazing flavors in the world. But this is one of my favorites, and I hope it becomes one of your favorites too. So, what else do we have? Again, something that is just Christmas, right? But at the same time, inexpensive to make. I don't know if you've ever heard of stollen bread, but it's a tradition. I think it's a German tradition, and basically the most expensive thing you're using in it are the dried cherries, raisins, apricots, your dried fruit, basically, right? Stollen breads are jewel-like brandy-soaked fruit in an enriched dough, and this bread is a joyous celebration of the season. It's literally called Christmas stollen bread, Stollen, and you can get it anywhere online. I'm sure there are dozens of recipes for it. It's a German favorite, and it's absolutely delicious, okay? And it's a little bit boozy, but, boozy's okay sometimes. It's all right. We can do boozy. Just don't give it to the little kitties, right? Then, of course, panettone. Who does not love panettone? Tell me who you are, and I will smack you silly. Because panettone, to me, is one of the most amazing, beautifully classic Italian holiday sweetbreads that you will ever eat. It's like a cross between a coffee cake and dessert. And you can get it like year-round, I guess. But to me, panettone for Christmas means Christmas. It's amazing. What I love about this one is that you can make it in muffin cups, right, with strips of parchment paper underneath it. So it makes it easy to remove the panettones after baking. And you can prepare this recipe in traditional muffin tins. For a yield of 18 or 24. You can trim the parchment paper to about 2.5 by 6 inches and shorten the baking time to 20 minutes. That way you can make a lot of them. The great thing about panettones is when they come out of the oven and they've cooled off, you can wrap you go to the store, get yourself a few yards of red ribbon, satin ribbon, and use that. Wrap each one in a little ribbon and put it in your package to take to your friend's house. They will thank you. Oh my God, they will thank you. Better yet, if you brought the orange cranberry muffins with the panettone, oh my God. And panettone is really, really easy and really cheap to make, okay? It's 2 packages of yeast, 1 1/4 cups of warm water, 5 3/4 cups of all-purpose flour. Just divide it. 3/4 cups of sugar, 7 tablespoons of butter, 1 tablespoon of finely chopped fresh orange rind, half a teaspoon of salt, 2 large eggs, 2.5 cups of sweetened dried cranberries, 1/4 cup of finely chopped crystallized ginger, some cooking spray, and a couple tablespoons of sliced almonds. And that's it. That's pretty much it. You're baking this just like you would a normal bread. You're whipping the cranberries into it and the ginger, and you're sprinkling the almonds on top while it's proofing, and then you pop it in the oven and you bake it. You get 24 of these little beautiful muffins in 20 minutes. And it's just, oh my God, amazing. So, of course, if you're going to do this recipe, you want to do 375 degrees. It'll actually double in size. So if you do it at 375, it'll give it enough time for the insides to puff and rise properly without a crust forming over the top quickly. Right? So you don't want to do it at 400. You want to do it at 375. And yeah, you can do it for 20 to 25 minutes. Just check your muffins. I would recommend that you watch it when it gets golden brown on top and you see that set color. You'll know. You pull it out and test it. Okay? It's bread. It's not cake. So if you pull it out and test it, it's not fine, just put it back in the oven and let it bake for a few more minutes. Just do it quickly. Excuse me. Now, panettone to me is just one of the most amazing things you can have for Christmas. It's delicious, decadent, gorgeous. But another one is cinnamon rolls. Ooey gooey cinnamon rolls, tricked out with an extra special filling of toasted pecans, cinnamons, dried fruit. But their best feature, these rolls can go from the freezer to the oven in just 30 minutes. It's perfect for make-ahead holiday breakfast or for gift giving, okay? And basically, they are, let's see, you can take them, a package of dry yeast, a quarter cup of warm water, some fat-free milk, a half cup of fat-free milk, a third a cup of granulated sugar, a quarter cup of butter melted, a teaspoon of vanilla extract, a half teaspoon of salt, 1 large egg lightly beaten, 3 3/4 cups of all-purpose flour divided, and some cooking spray. For the filling, you need 2/3 cups packed brown sugar, 1/2 cup golden raisins, 1/2 cup chopped dried apricots, 1/2 cup chopped pecans, 1 tablespoon ground cinnamon, 2 tablespoons of butter melted, and for your glaze, a cup of powdered sugar and 2 tablespoons of fat-free milk. All you're doing is dissolving your yeast in the warm water, let it stand. Not bread, but cinnamon roll recipe, right? So you let it stand for about 5 minutes, you stir in a 1/2 cup of milk, and the next 5 ingredients, which is your milk, your 1/3 cup of granulated sugar, your butter, your warm water. It all goes in there, right? Your egg, your salt, your vanilla. It all goes in there. Then lightly spoon flour into the dry measuring cups. Level with a knife. Add 3 1/2 cups of flour to yeast mixture and stir until blended. You don't want to put too much flour, so you don't want to pack it down, so you don't want to scoop it in there with the cup, basically. So lightly spoon your flour into your serving cups, your measuring cups, so that you don't pack your flour down, okay? You're going to turn your dough out onto a floured surface and knead it until it's smooth and elastic. It'll take about 10 to 15 minutes. Add enough of the remaining flour, maybe a tablespoon at a time, to prevent the dough from sticking to your hands, although the dough will feel sticky. Place the dough in a large bowl coated with cooking spray and turn to coat the top. Cover and let it rise in a warm place, free from drafts. I tend to pop it into the microwave, to tell you the truth, because it's a nice enclosed area and it can do its own thing. It helps these to work for some reason. An hour or so until it's doubled in size. Gently press 2 fingers into the dough. If indentation remains, the dough has risen enough. Punch the dough down and cover and let it rest for 5 minutes. Then prepare your filling, which just means combine the brown sugar, the raisins, the apricots, the pecans, and the cinnamon. And then roll the dough out into an 18 by 10 inch rectangle on a floured surface. Brush 2 tablespoons of melted butter over the dough. Sprinkle with 1 1/2 cups of your filling, leaving a 1/2 inch border. Beginning with the long side and roll it up jelly roll fashion and pinch the seam to seal. Do not seal the ends of the roll, by the way, just the seam where you've rolled it up. Place a long piece of dental floss under the dough, 3/4 inch from the end of the roll. Cross ends of floss over the top of the roll and slowly pull ends to cut through the dough. Repeat the procedure to make 24 rolls. You can coat 2 9-inch square foil baking pans with cooking spray. You sprinkle a 1/2 cup of filling into the bottom of each pan and place 12 rolls cut side up in each pan. Cover it, let it rise for an hour and a half or until doubled in size. You can preheat your oven to 350. Uncover your rolls and bake them at 350 for 20 minutes or until browned. And then you just invert it or turn it over into a serving platter. Your glaze is basically combining your powdered sugar and 2 tablespoons of fat-free milk, because you don't, you can use whatever, but 2 tablespoons of fat-free milk, and stirring it until it's smooth, and drizzle over the warm rolls. To freeze the unbaked rolls, you prepare the recipe exactly the same way through cutting the dough into 24 rolls and placing it in pans, letting it rise until it's doubled in size. Once it's doubled, instead of putting it into the oven, you cover it with plastic wrap. You wrap it tightly with heavy-duty foil and store in the freezer for up to 2 months. To prepare your frozen unbaked rolls, remove the rolls from the freezer and let stand at room temperature for 30 minutes. Uncover and bake at 350 for 20 minutes until browned. Really, really simple, really easy, and you know what? A pan of homemade cinnamon rolls ready to go. Let's say you doubled this recipe, right? And that way you can make 4 pans of this. And you put all 4 pans in the freezer after they've risen. Maybe keep one for you and your hubby or your family at home. But you have 3 beautiful Hostess gifts just to give to friends. And all you gotta do is pull it out of the freezer when you're ready to go. Wrap some, because it's already wrapped up in the foil paper. You can just wrap some red ribbon over it, and or some whatever ribbon, slap a bow on it basically, and take it over to your friends. It's cold enough that if you want to keep it cold and frozen, you put it into a freezer bag or whatever, something, an ice bag, a cooler, a chest, whatever. It'll stay nice and cold. Or if you're thinking, hey, I'm going to go over to Mom's for breakfast, I am going to surprise her with Christmas breakfast in her kitchen. So you go over and you prepare the warm cinnamon rolls, and basically by the time you get over there, they're thawed out in the backseat of your car. Pop them in the oven and start the coffee percolating, start making the fruit. In 30 minutes, you have a perfect breakfast ready for Mom and Dad to surprise them, just to say, hey, morning, I love ya, Merry Christmas. Because you know what, I think the present most people want this time of year is to know that they're loved, they're remembered, and that their friends and family want to spend time with them and celebrate this special time of year. I mean, it is Christmas after all. But it looks like that's pretty much all the time we have tonight for Talk Time with Val. We have the beautiful, the wonderful, the gorgeous Amy coming up after me for Rock Talk. Did I say that correctly? Rock Talk? Rock Talk.
Rock Talk.
Rock Talk. I can't say that, but it feels weird in my mouth. Rock Talk. Rock Talk. It sounds like I'm saying Rock Talk. But anyway, the beautiful, gorgeous, brilliant Amy is coming up after for Rock Talk right here on Armed Radio Global. She will have, of course, the unbelievably crotchety and yet still lovable Jim Bell as her producer. Right, Jimmy?
That's right.
So make sure you stay tuned for Amy and Rock Talk after my show. And, of course, until next Tuesday, when you will have another great, fantastic, scintillating, absolutely amazing, deliciously decadent episode of Talk Time with Val, I wish you a good night, a good week, and blessed be.